I'm Dr. Mohammad Rafi, Associate Professor, Department of Cyber Security at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I want to discuss about the network programming and management subject, in which the topic is standard MIB. Standard Message Information, that means now database. That is, MIB is a managing the information database. Manage information database. Standard Manage Information Database. Here is Standard Management Information Database, or the structured hierarchical of the information. That means whatever the information now we are storing in a management information database, that is MIB. So that information can be stored in the form of the hierarchical form or in the structured form. Here, the information, whatever the information we are storing in a hierarchical form, that should be related to the particular organization. That means now the information, the storing information, it may be the .org or .iso or .int or .in. Here different types of the information, the related, the organization, the information we can store in the MIB database, that is Management Information Database. Here generally these are the database that can be used in a network management protocols. The best the example for the network management protocol is a SNMP. Here this SNMP protocol generally we can use at the application layer level protocol. Here this application layer level can be used at client side or server side. With help of this the SNMP protocol, now we can manage and monitoring the network of the devices. Whatever the network devices are there between the source and the destination, so all the network devices that can be monitored. That means here monitoring here, that is a SNMP router or switches or printers or dockers, whatever the devices now we are using, that can be monitored and managing the information and effectively transmitting the information between the two devices. Generally, some of the widely used standard management information should, which can be include, one is a MIB2 and if MIB. MIB2, it is a request for comment, that is 1213. So MIB2, which is the extended the original MIB, that means RFC 1150, request for comment 1150, and which includes the general network management information. So general network management information means such as the any systems, any other devices or any interfaces, administrative, some translators, addressing, translations, and IP statistics. So these are all the MIB2 now. So in MIB2 this can be included. If MIB, that means RFC 2863, this can be utilized. If MIB, these are the standard MIB standard now, which is managing and monitoring the network interfaces. So between network interfaces means it may be the switches, routers, hubs, printers, all are the network interfaces. Whatever the devices we are utilizing in a network, all the devices can be considered it as a network interfaces, which providing the detailed information about the interfaces on a particular network of the device. It may be the private network or it may be the public network. Here, next standard is a host to resources MIB standard. Here in this now we are using RFC 2790. So this standard which is providing the information about the resources of a host system, which including the storage, memory, process and running software. So these are the standards. All these are the devices. Storage devices can be managed and memory devices can be managed and processing can be managed and running software. Whatever the softwares now we are running at the client side and at the server side, that can be managed and monitored. That means the software, the client side softwares and server side softwares effectively working or not. Here is TCP MIB. TCP MIB, now it is another standard. So in this now we are utilizing the RFC 4022. These TCP MIB which contain the objects. So these objects can be identified for managing and monitoring the TCP connections. TCP connection now establish the connection between the two devices. For communication, for effective or the communication purpose, now we are establishing the connectivity between the two devices. So this is about the TCP IP other connections, which include the TCP statistics and connection states. TCP statistics and connection states. This is about the TCP MIB and UDP MIB. UDP MIB, that means here UDP MIB means now we are using the RFC 4113. So this RFC 4113 which is the providing managing the information for monitoring UDP traffic between the two devices. Whatever the other devices or connection is established in these other devices, so the connection establishment can be monitored and managed with help of the UDP MIB. Here these MIB are the standards. These are the standards now which ensuring the interoperability and consistent management. Here is interoperability and consistent management across the different network of the devices and the systems. So this is about the here with help of this the standard now we can manage these, we can ensuring and we can managing. So all these the interoperability and network the devices and the systems. So the operations can be performed in this. Here next real-time applications of a standard MIBs. Standard MIB generally now we are using the network performance monitoring. So it is a real-time application in any networking devices. Here is the performance can be monitored. That means if you are going to transmitting the message from source to the destination, here how much the data we are going to transmitting, what is the speed of the data and the accuracy of the data, scalability of the data. Here we can measure the performance. In that now we are using the MIB2, that is the enhancement of the MIB, which is providing the real-time data on a network device the performance. Generally network device the performance here the speed will be considered generally for the data transfer speed can be considered in a network devices. So which is the including the some interfaces, statistics and IP TCP and UDP metrics. Here is, these are the metrics now which is helps in a monitoring the traffic loads, detecting the congestions. That means if the packets, the data are coming opposite the direction, generally the congestion can be detected, and ensuring the optimal network the performance. The performance here, optimal network performance, how can it is ensured? That means minimum time taking. So for which data transfer, which is taking the minimum time for the transferring, and also if MIB, that is RFC 2863, that means now which is track the interfaces, the status and the error rates in a real time. Here network management system which is use the data to detect the faults like links in a failure or interface errors or any triggering alerts for the immediate corrective actions. That means here this if MIB, what it is doing now, fault detections are altering, so altering can be done. So while the transferring the data between the two devices, now here some routers will be failed. Here it is a device 1 and this one is a device 2. So while the transferring the data between the device 1 and device 2, some data will be failed. Some data will be the failed. Here when it is the failed data transparency, whenever the routers are some damages or network connectivity is a losses, so or some switches the problems are issued in switches. Here then data fault, that means data transparency can be, we can detect the data transparency should be delayed or lost the data transparency. That means fault, the detections can be done with the help of these SNMP. This is the protocol here. So we can monitor and managing the data transparency and real-time traffic analysis. If you take the traffic, real-time the traffic analysis can be done with help of the standard MIB. So MIB, the standard MIB here, the standards are TCP MIB and UDP MIB. So TCP MIB and UDP MIB now, so which are all the real-time statistics. So on a TCP and UDP traffic, for example, traffic signaling. Real-time application is a traffic signaling. In traffic signaling now, we can analyze the time can be categorized. For one way, here the number of the ways now, vehicles can be moving. Whatever the vehicles are moving, so we can allot the time. So within this other time now, the vehicles can be traveled. That means here the analysis. That means within this other time, how many other vehicles can be traveled. So that can be analyzed. The traffic depends upon this the traffic now that can be analyzed. So the information, here also the information here, how much the information now we are going to the transferring. So it is a very crucial for the traffic analysis in a pattern recognition. Generally here the pattern recognition can be utilized this one, and identifying the problems in traffic analysis here. So these the standards which can be identify the problems. What are the problems are now we are going to facing, and ensuring the efficient flow of data across the network, whatever the networks now we are utilizing. So we can ensure the flow of the data. System health monitoring. System health monitoring means here any devices are damaged, any devices are failed between the two computing devices. That means any routers are failed, any switches are failed, or any hubs are failed. That means now health can be monitored and detecting the failure, which provide the real-time data on the host systems such as the CPU and memory and storage usages. That means now which enabling the administrators. Here the administrators now they can monitor the health of the network or health of the networks and health of the server and the client. So the devices, whatever the devices now we are utilizing over the networks, now all the devices, it may be the switches or it may be the routers or it may be the hubs. So all the hubs now we are monitoring the each and every devices now which can be utilized between the two systems, that is a system 1 and system other 2. System 2, we are going to establishing the communication. While communicating between the two systems now, we can monitoring the device failure, critical network other devices. Now, which they can be operating within a safe other parameter or not. Here is the safety parameters, so we are utilizing or not here. Everything can be monitored. So security monitoring. That means security monitoring means now we are using the standard SNMP v3 version MIB. So these SNMP v3, these are the protocol, these are the version protocol now which provide the more security for monitoring and securing the SNMP operations, managing the SNMP the operations. Here this MIB, which is helps in a real-time tracking of the authentication and encryption activities, which ensuring the network management communications. So this should be provide the security. That means whatever the data you are sending from the source to destination, the data packets, so the data packets are secure or not, isn't it? Here the authenticated, that means the encryption and decryption and the mechanical mechanism here. Now we can provide the more the security. Here that is a real-time the tracking of the authentication and encryption activities, which ensuring the network management and the communications are, so these are all the more secure. Service level agreement monitoring. So this is the SLA is the real-time application. So in service level agreement and the monitoring, now we are using the RMON MIB standard. So this RMON MIB standard, which is a remote monitoring, RMON MIB, which provides detailed real-time data on a network, the performance and the traffic. So it is a very essential for monitoring these are the service level agreement. Whatever the agreement is taken, up to that the agreement only the data can be transmitted. Now okay, we can access the services from the servers, whatever the other servers, and which is ensuring that network services meet the agreed upon the performance standards. Based on the performance standards now, so we can make some of the standardizations. The improve the standardizations. Energy management also, so it is another real-time application. So in this now what we are using, entity MIB, that is RFC 4133 standard can be utilized. Here it is used for the real-time monitoring of a power usage and environmental other conditions. So in a network devices, this helps in managing and managing the consumptions or ensuring the physical health of the network infrastructure. Objectives of the standard MIB are in a network management generally. So this can be utilized standard management information base in a real-time applications. So which are the focused on the enhancing network management, the performance and security. Here is the performance monitoring. Performance monitoring means now how can you monitor the performance means based on the traffic load. So between these networking devices, so network device performance, what is the network device the performance, what is the traffic load, and interface statistics. How many interfaces now we are using, that means number of routers, how many number of routers we are using while transmitting the data between the source and the destination. Here how many number of routers we are using, router 1, router 2, and how many switches we are going to using. switches we are going to using, and how many the hubs we are using. That means here now which is depends upon that devices, intermediate the devices. So we can monitor the performance, we can measure the performance of a network and optimizing the network efficiency by identifying and addressing the bottleneck and performance degradation in a real-time applications. So this is a performance monitoring objective, and fault detection and resolution can be measured. Here the fault detection means now what it is doing, which is enabling the rapid detection of the network faults such as link failure, interface errors, device malfunctioning. Here which is providing the timely alerts, notifications to facilitate the immediate corrective actions and minimizing the downtime. So this is the fault detections. If any router is a fault, the fault detections can be done. Traffic analysis. Traffic analysis means here monitoring and analyzing the real-time traffic patterns and flow to detect the anomalies and potential security threats, which ensuring the efficient data transmission and maintain the quality of service, the standard in a network transmissions. That is a traffic analysis main we can do with help of the standards MIB, management information database. With this the database now, it may be the .org database or it may be government. Suppose if we take the gov.in database, now we can traffic data on our traffic analysis. Any other traffic analysis now can be done for this other database or .com database or .co.in database, any database now that can be identified and rectified the database. System health monitoring, continuously monitoring the health and resources of the network devices and host system. And security monitoring, here whatever the information we are transferring between the two devices, that means now the authentication or authorization, the encryption operations are applying. Here the information, the content, whatever the content we are going to transferring, here these are the content data packets. On this the data packets, now we can provide the authentication service, we can provide the authentication service or authorization service, and encryption operations can be applied. So by applying these authentication, authorization, encryption securely, we can transfer the data so that can effectively monitor and detecting and responded the unauthorized access. If any hackers are attacked, if any hackers are attacking this data, so the intruders, it will be attacking the data, it can be identified, and any vulnerabilities over this the network, whatever the network you are using, whether it may be the private network or public network, here whatever the network now we are using, we can detect the network these vulnerabilities, and the mitigations can be reduced. Energy and environment management, scalability and automations. So these are all the objectives of a standard MIB. Here energy and environment management, now we are monitoring the power usage between the two the computers or in an organization, how much the power now we are going to utilizing. So that can be identified with help of the standard the MIBs, that is the environment conditions of the network infrastructures, optimizing the energy consumptions and ensure the physical health of the network devices, scalability and automations. Here is now by achieving these objectives, organization can ensure very robust, efficient and secure network operations. So ultimately, which is enhancing the overall business, the performance and user satisfaction. Here the outcome of the standard MIB is utilizing standard MIB in a real-time application, which is enhancing the network performance and detecting the faults, damages over the network, which is ensuring the efficient traffic management and also robust system health monitoring can be detected. So these are the standard MIBs are improving the security over the network and enabling the timely responses, detecting the threats, and ensure that any other compliances with a SLA through the accurate the performance tracking. That means additionally it optimizes the energy usage and also which support the scalability, automation, leading to more efficient network operations and informed decision makings depends upon the damages or issues or problems any issues arise over the network. Now decision can be taken that should be informed. Here in conclusion, the use of the standard management basis in a real time application so very crucial for modern network management, so which enhance the performance monitoring, fault detection and traffic management, which ensuring the robust efficient network operations. That means which is strengthen the security, support SLA compliances, optimizing the energy usages, the scalability and automation facilities. Here, and informed decision makings in a network environment. So this is the conclusion of a standard MIB. So in a standard MIB, the textbooks are the Unix network, the programming, network management principles and practices, and references are internet networking with the TCP, IP, SNMP, SNMP v2, SNMP v3. So these are all the reference books. Remaining, these are all the web references. These four are the web references. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.